Let's have an update on tactical voting. So when Theresa May called her snap election, she was riding high in the polls, still pretty much in her honeymoon period, and the prospect of Prime Minister Corbyn or Prime Minister Farron looks a bit distant at the moment. But nevertheless, Jeremy Corbyn took the bait, and so here we are. Now, it is not likely that either the Lib Dems or Labour will win the general election. And it is not conceivable that we can put together a progressive alliance in a short period of time. Who would lead it? What would be the common policies? No time for that. So the only game in town to counterbalance, to prevent a Tory landslide, which would then have long-term implications, not just for Brexit, but also a suite of other policies, the only game in town now is tactical voting. And so that means identifying constituency by constituency who is in with a realistic chance of providing that counterbalance in Parliament. So that's what we need to do. Now, why do we do this? Are we just sad old Ramonas who are bitter and trying to take away Theresa May's negotiating hand when she just is trying to get the best for this country? No. Let's pop that narrative right now, because that's ridiculous. What Theresa May is claiming is that if Parliament were just stuffed with people like her, then somehow she would have a stronger negotiating hand with the EU. That isn't the case. The EU don't care if they're dealing with a monoculture of Tory Brexiteers or they're dealing with a parliament that represents the whole span of British society. Either way, they're looking at a country that they have trading relationships with, and they want to keep those strong and the collaborative relationships strong, but they don't want to do so in a way that undermines the fundamental structure of the EU or single market. That is their priority. So, as far as they're concerned, this makes no difference to the strength of Theresa May's negotiating hand. What does it make a difference to? And that is the options that we are prepared to consider from this end in terms of how we do a deal. So it is all about her having more power to get her blinkered way, rather than having a parliament that is as diverse as the country. And the latter is what we want, because this country has people of all political persuasions and a whole range of opinions when it comes to our relationship with the EU, and they should all be represented in our parliament. That's what it's about. So we need to make sure that we work hard to keep that diverse parliament going forward. So people who are open-minded to types of Brexit that may be different from what Theresa May wants, or even prepared to throw the whole thing out if the deal that she brings back long term doesn't look anything like as good as what we have now. And of course, all of this will interact over time with popular opinion, and you want parliamentarians who are going to be sensitive to that and responsive to that, rather than ideologically driven and narrow. So that's what we're looking for. And how do we do it? Well, the pro-European societies, in the broadest sense of the word, need to get together, need to get the money and resources and the troops, and actually find those individual candidates in those individual constituencies where you can make a difference. So that's what the effort is at the moment, and watch this space.